We are on day 12. Almost halfway done. I'm so excited. All right, let's see. Okay, so this is feels like a short mug. It's kind of cute. All right, this is definitely not a shape I typically throw. It's fairly wide relative to height, so I'm going to center it wider on the wheel and pull it or collar in at the top. I guess. Here we go. Let's see what we get. To center wider than I normally do for a cup because this is a low, kind of wide bottom. All right. Tip for anybody who is not used to throwing and is worried about making the bottom too thin, you can open up your piece and take a pin tool. And if you hold your pin tool and then poke in and put your finger, you can see that's about how thick the bottom is. That's okay. I'm probably going to go a tiny bit thinner, but I'm not real worried about it. But that way you can stop yourself from throwing way too thick or way too thin. I used to make my bottom super thick and have to trim off huge amounts in the process of trimming. I hate that. So it's an option, you know. Even if it's not thin enough, you can always open it up some more, right? Harder to put back, harder to make it thicker. All right, got it's probably, I don't know, it's about that wide open across. Okay, because it's going to be a wide. Wide, short piece, basically. But again, as always, I'm mostly going after a cylinder here, so that I can alter the cylinder once I've thrown it. But that's probably about as wide as I want it, or as tall as I want it. I don't want a super tall thing. All right. It is slanty at the bottom. Slanty, it's the technical term, right? See how it curves in? I'm going to undercut my base by quite a bit, actually, I think, here. So I take my wooden knife, take it at an angle, support your hand while you're doing it so that you do not inadvertently cut where you don't want to. Give it a lot of support. Then, if you just cut this off the base, it will stick back to your piece. But if you toss some water in it, in that groove, wet clay doesn't stick nearly as well to itself. So then I just take my clay knife and trim it off. And I put it over there. All right. Now, you don't want to leave your piece sitting in water. So I'm going to pull out a bit. This is a nice curve on the bottom. I'm going to grab my yellow rib if I can find it. That's a blue one. I have too many ribs in my bucket. I should do better. Yellow rib. It's my favorite. Make that curve. And then we're going to collar in the top. And the top from here to here is going to go in. So I'm going to start at the base and push in gently. With. And then I'm going to go back to the point where I'm starting to go in and push in some more. Gently. Don't try to collar in too fast, or it will just make it wonky. It will make the rim will start to ruffle. Or at least that's what I think of it as. It'll start going, back. It won't stay straight because you're going too fast, basically. Clay doesn't tolerate too much aggression, basically. Clean out the water out of the bottom. Make sure this. Again, this is a really short one because it's not a very involved shape, right? Okay, so the base is a little wider than the top, which is what I've drawn here. The base is a little wider than the top. What do we think? Good shape? Maybe, it maybe could be a little taller down here at the bottom. I feel like there's kind of more of a curve than that. So I'm actually gonna scrape that off. And give it a little more curve, a little higher up. Kind of there. That feels a little better. And then we're gonna pull the top just a hair more here because I've colored in a bunch and I don't want it to, all right, too thick. Like that. All right, I don't hate that shape at all. I'm going to trim off a tiny bit of the rim just to make sure. I don't think it's particularly wonky, but I don't want to find out. And then I'm going to clean up my rim with my trusty little square of plastic. You haven't seen my free hack? This is it. The best thing I've ever found to make your rim nice and smooth is a little piece of the plastic clay bag. I take it like a square of it or a little bit of it and stick it in my bucket so it's wet. I fold it over so that I don't have a double edge, and then I just gently put it on the outside and lay it to the inside, and it cleans up the rim. I have tried leather chamois. My experience is that leather chamois tends to rub the slip off. It like takes it away. And what I really want is not to do that. Ooh, that's kind of sticking out now. Let's do that. Let's want to go in. Clean up that shape a little bit. Still kind of going out. Weird. Alright, I'm going to throw it just a hair higher. But I want it to go, it's just a straight shot. That's better. I'm actually going to take my rib and kind of straighten it out. Okay, I think that's it. Day 12.